In this video I'm going to show you how you can create a new round. My interpretation is assuming that the number of votes is stored rather than the votes themselves, so the number of votes is stored rather than the votes themselves. I'm also assuming that there's an eliminated field or something similar in the acts table, and that will be set to true if an act gets less than 3 votes. So the first thing I'm going to do is to create an unbound form with 2 fields. So just go to create form design, and I'm going to have 2 fields. I'm going to call it, I'm just going to call the first one, really important to rename the field itself. I'm going to call that current round, and then I'm going to just move that along a little bit and make this a bit wider, give it a label, current round, and then I'm just going to take a copy of this, Control C, Control V, and I'm going to call this one new round, and I'm going to just change the label for that one to new round. Just use the label icon to create a title for the form, generate new round, and that's the form saving it as FRM generate new round. Okay, I'm going to go to normal view for the form. I'm going to be using these quite a lot, so current round is first, and the new round is going to be second. So just showing you, so this is the TBL round. At the moment we've just got 1 round, and that's the first round. So the first thing we're going to do with this is we're going to generate the new round in the TBL round. To do that, we're going to make an append query. So create query design. We're not querying any tables, really important not to click a table or this won't work. We're going to get the data, the round number, from our form. So I'm going to go to build, and I'm going to click on here, go to forms, loaded forms, because it's the one that's open, and it's going to be my new round. It's the one that I want. Double click OK, goes there nicely for me, and all I'm going to do is turn this into an append query, and I want to append it to my round table, and the table I want to append it to, the field I want to append it to is my round ID. So I'm just going to run that query. About to append 1 row, which is what I expected. Yes, just checking page table round. Yes, and you can see it's there. So I'm just going to save this query and name it as query append new round. Always give your queries and forms and reports sensible names. It really will make your life much easier. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create an update query which will update any acts that have less than 4 votes, because the scenario states if they need 3 votes in order to continue to, less than 3 votes, they need 3 votes to continue to the next round. So I'm going to update any that have got less than 3 votes to eliminated equals true. So I'm going to create query design again, and the tables I want to have are table votes and table acts. So if we just have a quick peek at the votes table, you can see I'm expecting to eliminate, I'm expecting to stay in, I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 acts I'm expecting to stay in. The others will be eliminated, they haven't got enough votes. So the first thing to do is I'm going to have the eliminated in TBL acts. I'm going to add that to my query, and I'm going to say the round ID, I want to have that, and I'm going to have number of votes is going to be less than 3. Number of votes is less than 3, and the round ID, the round that I'm querying is going to be the new round. So I'm going to go to build again, go to build, and I could just go and copy it from my previous query, but this is, I'll just start either way if you're confident. Loaded forms, and I'm going to be new round is my field. Okay, and that's my query. Now I want to make it I could just run this just to check it's working. If I go to design and run, and there's something gone wrong, let me just check this again. Okay, I can see what I've done. I should be, of course, the round that I should be querying should be the current round, because that's the round I want to see if they got less than 3 votes. So just go to build, just changing that. So if it happens to you, that's why. Go to loaded forms, form generate round, and then current round, and OK. So let's just try that again. Hopefully it'll work this time. Okay, that's right, so that's what I was expecting. I'm going back to my design view. I'm now going to change this to be an update query, and I want the eliminated field in table acts to update to be true, because if they've got less than 3 votes in the current round, they are eliminated. So I'm just going to run that, update 5 rows, yes, and just go back to TBL acts, and you can see that they've all been eliminated. Those acts, that's worked correctly. So I'm just going to save that as query QRY eliminated from round. Okay, and then I'm just going to close that down. Now I'm going to create a query which is going to create a new round of votes using the new round field from the form, and it's going to be all of the acts that aren't eliminated that will go through to the next round, and they will have their vote records generated in TBL votes. So the first thing I'm going to do again is create query design. The fields that I want to the tables I want to query are table round and the table with the acts in them. So, and then the fields that I want to do, I want the round ID, I want to have my act ID, and I want to have my eliminated field as well from table acts. And the criteria I'm going to have is going to be the new round in the form, in the generate new round form. So I'm going to go to build and forms, loaded forms, form general, new round. The new round, and that definitely is new round this time. And then I'm going to have eliminated, I want to be false. So if I just run this query just to see how it looks, and you can see I've got my new acts all here. I've got 6 acts left, which is what I was expecting. So I'm going to go back to design view, and instead of just showing those, what I want to do is I want to append the results to my TBL votes. So I'm going to change this to an append query, and I'm going to make TBL votes. Okay, append to. I don't need to append the eliminated field, just these 2 fields. And then I'm going to run the query again. About to append 6 rows, that's what I was expecting. Okay, and I'm just going to save my query as query append new votes. Okay, and just going to check the voting table, and you can see I've got my second round all ready to go. Now the final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a macro which will make all of this run, all of these steps run together. And the first in my macro is I'm going to go to create macro, and the first thing I'm going to do in my macro is I'm going to have an if statement, if, and I'm saying basically if, because I'm using the is null function to check if something's empty. I could use build here, but because I'm going to run this macro from the form, form generate round, I can actually just refer to the name of the field on the form. So I'm going to say if is null current round, close brackets, or is null new round, and if either of them are empty, I'm going to have a message box. I could just click on M there, message box, please enter name of new round and current round. That's all. And then I'm going to say else, so in other words, as long as they're not empty, they're both filled in, else, oops, did the wrong thing, else. And the else is basically just to run the 3 queries. So I'm going to say open query, click on O, open query, and the query name is going to be my query append new round. Then the next one I'm going to do is going to be open query again, and the query is going to be eliminated from round. And then the final query I'm going to run is going to be my appending my votes. So open query and append new votes. If I ran that now, it wouldn't work, just because I've already run the queries as I've gone through. So you'd have to just go through and delete the data you've added and then run it. The final thing I'll actually do is to just, you can see you can make your query look much neater, just to make life easier for you. Just make that a bit bigger. and that's my macro. I'm just going to now call this MCR new round. Okay, and then I'm going to add a button onto my form. Go to design view. It won't work if you run it from here because it's referring to a field. It's not giving the full address of the form, so really important to remember that. If you go to design and then the button, I'm going to click on the button, miscellaneous, run macro, macro new round, and I'm just going to add some text, generate round. Next, finish, and that's all.